to the show. I am Turyatunga Juna, and today we talk the taxation's impact on women's businesses in Uganda. Please note that taxes date as far as back as before Christ, and we look at taxes that were like tithe and crop. In Uganda, taxation came with the colonial masters. We started with the heart tax and the poll tax. Later on, we moved to graduated tax, which already also got scrapped off during the election campaigns. Also had VAT introduced, and that was when Mr. Paul Semogere told the president that it will be affecting different goods and services in the country. But as we go on, we've seen the tax is now part of who we are. We are living with it, though it has its impact on businesses. And today we sit with women in business to share with us how this taxation is affecting their businesses or if it's helping them grow. With me, I'm joined by Rose Lillian Aliguma, is the director, Civic Media Limited. Welcome to the show, Rose.
Thank you.
And the formidable Winfred Mugambwa. When you see Winfred on the show, you know that civic action is about to start.
Yeah.
She's the executive director of Rights for High Uganda. Welcome to the show, Winfred.
Thank you so much.
We missed you.
I miss you too.
We have Akello, Cecilia, Nokrach. She's the executive director of Sapphire and PALS. And also a farm and human rights activist. Welcome to the show, Cecilia.
Thank you, Rebecca.
And Soki Hildah. Soki Hildah is the CEO of Brand It with Soki and GRC School of Law. I'm proud to know the GRC of the School of Law.
Thank you.
How have you been?
Been fine.
Is taxation and the taxes that are levied on your businesses helping you as a business? Are you seeing them come to work?
Well, yes. I would say yes and no to a certain extent. Because of course taxation is part of us. And if you're running a business and you seek to work with certain corporate companies, you must be taxed. You must be registered. Your invoices, your quotations must include a certain tax that is going to be paid. So I'd say it comes back to me that whenever I put out a product that is finished, of course I'm going to incur value added tax. I'm going to, and then also I'd say that we're not that informed about taxation and the taxes. Yes, it's put out there that people are actually educated, but women in business and entrepreneurs, and generally you get to realize that most small enterprises are owned by women, but we do not have the necessary tax education. Like we do not know that what tax am I supposed to, if I'm doing a branding business, what taxes am I supposed to pay? How are they going to come back and help me? Are they high? Are they favorable? Yeah. Is it going to drag me back? Because at certain times you're going to pay more taxes, yet your profits do not seek to benefit you when you get to your business.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much, Soki. And I'll come to you, Cecilia. How do we ensure, as now a human rights activist and still a woman in business, how do we ensure there is tax justice for women in business?
Yeah, thank you so much. I believe to ensure that there is tax justice, one important thing is to create awareness among different categories of women. Let's not focus on women in the corporate sphere, but also reach out to the women in the informal sector. Many people are paying taxes and some are not aware of the taxes that they are paying. And the taxes are being charged at multiple levels. So you find that for us to have tax justice as women, we need to sit with the different policymakers, different stakeholders, and determine what levels are taxes being levied. Is it at the level of consumption? Is it at the level of buying? Like, for instance, I'm into agricultural farming. When I'm purchasing agro input, I pay taxes. And then when I'm transporting some of the goods and services to the market, I pay taxes. And then if I'm going to do processing, I also have to pay taxes. So for us to have tax justice, we need to sit down with the different stakeholders and find out what do they define as taxes. what taxes must one pay? And how can we avoid multiple taxes? If I have a store also where I'm paying rent, there's a tax that I'm paying. So you find that for justice to take place, government needs to educate the masses and say, this is the tax that you're supposed to pay, and the revenue that is gathered is going to benefit you in this manner, and it will be profitable to your businesses. It's such a sad thing that you pay taxes, but as you're bringing your goods to the market, for instance, in Kampala, you choose what potholes to fall in. And at times you have to damage your goods and services or pay more transport costs because of the conditions of the roads. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Ceci. And you bring out the aspect of ensuring that we have accountability for the resources that we collect from the people, the revenue that we collect. And Winfred, I'll come to you and you give us, because you have the civic voice, have our taxes resulted to development of this country based on what we collect?
Thank you so much. When we talk about tax justice, and I feel there is less of gender responsiveness. It's not gender responsive. To me, I feel the country is not that developing. Yes, we have the face of seeing things developing, but are they really? They are not, because there is also money that is coming in that is borrowed. Yes, but development comes with all sectors and all citizens being developed. But if one sector is developed and another is not, the country is not developing. If we see that we have the face value of the developed people, of the 45 million people in Uganda, how many have developed? How many have economically developed for me to feel like the country is developing? With the corruption going on, the country is we are stagnant. We are being stagnant. The recently amended bill, the acts in the taxation that now looks at now spreading the risk. To me, I call it spreading the risk, because the rich have not been paying taxes. Then the finance minister comes up that we are reducing the taxes, and now we are spreading. They were defining for us the definition of assets, and now we can see this is a time where women have acquired more assets. Yes, and now assets are going to be taxed, and now the definition is broader. Like everything that is economical, an asset that can be turned into an income is now has to be taxed. Where does it place women? And remember, women are we are the core of the development. And also, when we talk about development and we are talking about women, women will look at microfinances now, which have helped women develop so much and have helped the development of the country. Because through developing women, the country has gone some far. Yes, when the president was coming, he emphasized women development. He has been also emphasizing on women development because he also knows if we develop the women, we are developing the child, we are developing the men, we are developing the country. And now if we say that even deposits in microfinances are going to be taxed, where is it leaving? Where is it leaving the woman? Yes, and where is it leaving the country? With the high corruption. Yes, so like how Cecilia said that everything is being taxed. Yes, to me, sometimes I feel like even one day, or either the government is sitting there and saying, how can we even start taxing this hair that people are breathing? It is the next thing. Yes, so everything is taxed. But again, even those the persons they've caught embezzling taxpayers' money, they've not done anything to them. Yes, so we are just enjoying the game we are in. We are looking at development. So when you talk about development, what do we really mean? When the president wakes up and says that the country is developing, I found Uganda at this, we are here. To him, what is development to him? When the least when the youth are suffering, when the women are suffering, when the people at the grassroots are now the ones suffering. Yes, when they are choosing to spread taxes to even the marginalized to pay for the rich who have not been paying. Was it 2021 or 2022 when URA came out and stated that it's only 1 million people who are paying taxes? Yes, and to me, I feel with that report, very many rich people are not paying taxes. Very many, not even rich. Very many people who are supposed to pay taxes are not paying taxes. So the country is developing the already the rich, the people in the high class, and it's okay. It's okay for them, for the marginalized not to be developed and to milk. It's like they're milking everything, even what the marginalized have acquired. The government is trying to milk it. So that is not development to me. Yes, there is some progress, but I can't call it development. But there is some progress, and I acknowledge the progress.
Okay, thank you so much, Winfred. I'll come to you, Rose. What's because you're a woman in business, you are there doing digital things.
Yes.
How then do we sit with ourselves and say, okay, URA, these taxes you're giving us are not working for us as women in business?
Honestly speaking, can you sit with URA? I have personally had.
Nice question.
Whom do you sit with? You're living in a vacuum world where URA just sends emails. Yeah, you go there to their offices. They are rude. There are these people who have arrived. I think they've run businesses. They've paid all their taxes. Now it is your turn to pay. They will not listen to you. One time I entered, I got an email and I was told I have 2 days to declare my business, where I get my money from. I'm like, but I'm registered. I am a director of a company. I don't even earn a salary from my own business. But they're telling me I should declare where I get my money. So I wrote back to this lady and like, hello, how are you? You're asking me to tell you where I get my money, but I am fully registered, I'm paying taxes, and you have the records. And this is how we communicate. It is hard to go to URA and get answers, proper answers. There is this one, and once they have declared you pay this, you cannot even, it is hard to negotiate. It is either you pay or you close down and go. So I don't know if there is a platform where you can even, I think they are too big to be told, to talk to by a small business owner. So maybe civil society could help. It's the only platform that we have as women. Maybe women groups. But again, even with women groups, women, we are so laid back that sometimes when they push something so hard, we get intimidated and we just let go. So the conversation with the regulators and all that, it is a hard. So we hope that we can get a platform that is uniting women to talk about these taxes.
Is this a reflection of the leadership at URA?
Well, we don't know.
Who chooses the leadership at URA?
That would be
because if we get to know who chooses the leadership, URA reports to who? Then maybe from Minister of Finance, who appoints the Minister of Finance. So maybe it's just, sometimes it trickles down. You could look at URA, but again, they have directives.
Maybe
I'm
just
saying.
to add on what Rosa has said. I think the issue here is dialogue. We do not have a platform, and we do not have ways in which we can actually have these views reach them. Of course, there's always that narrative of give us feedback, maybe call our toll-free lines, but that's just hearsay, and maybe, let's say, just putting it there to make it look like they're actually going to help you. But we need them to know that this is what's on ground. Okay, if you're educating us, to what extent are you impactful? And are you really reaching out to the grassroots, to the people that actually need this information? Because we have so many circles that come up, We have so many women that are into business, they're being skilled and all that. But are they well informed about the taxes that they're going to pay? Because you're going to buy a product that is overly priced. The person is going to tell you taxes. Then when you also finish your own product, you're also supposed to pay the taxes. So all these taxes that we're paying, how are they going to come back and profit me as a person, the business?
You have to also trickle it to your customer.
Exactly.
And then it becomes impossible.
And then the customer is
We
saying
have
there
to
is
say
no
the
money in
vicious
the
cycle of poverty
Yeah.
like
Yes.
We
this.
actually live in a price-sensitive market, whereby if you increase your price by just a little bit, and there is somebody else who can offer it less, they would rather go for the fake and leave the genuine.
Yeah.
I can tell you recently, my husband traveled to Nigeria and bought 2 kaftanis at 500,000 shillings. Just 2. Unfortunately, by the time he was leaving, they had not hemmed them. So it's like, please just DHL these things to me. By the time they arrived at the airport, you don't even know who is, by the way, who is putting the taxes. They were at 1.5 million shillings. As in 1.5, 2, just 2. And this is within Africa. Now imagine importing from. and then he had to look for the money because they told him, we have issues with storage. We're going to charge you 200,000 shillings for storage. For delay to pick your things. He almost abandoned ship.
I also just wanted to add
It is
on.
possible. It's happening.
Yeah, I think sometimes in my mind, I think that it's about power and control.
Yes.
It's a deliberate move to let people poor.
Yeah.
It's easy to control a poor person.
Yeah.
It amazes me how government keeps attracting investors.
Yes.
Different business forums take place and they invite investors to come and invest in Uganda. They even guide them the processes of the taxation, and then some are given tax waivers. But I'm yet to wait for a time when the government is going to call Ugandans, our youth, our women. We know that jobs are scarce, but for us to make it easy for you, tell us what you're going to start and we are going to waive these taxes.
Yes.
I'm still waiting for that time. I recently attended a business forum for Uganda and Nigeria, and they were attracting people to come and invest in Uganda. But then one of the persons in the room mentioned a situation when he ordered for a container to come to Uganda. For over a year, it was held. He's ready to pay taxes, but I think they want him to pay bribes here and there. But just because he was in that room, they followed up on that issue. So ask yourself, a rural woman, how many people have that connection? So it's a means for power and controlling the citizens. Because if the government has the willingness, it will partner with the citizens. Uganda is not a poor country. It has a lot of opportunities. But then if you make taxes very expensive, even on the products that are needed for processing, for instance, agriculture, you'll find that only those who are connected, only those that have money will be trading. And instead of spreading the revenue, the taxes to the whole country, you find a few people are paying taxes. Like recently, a business lady, she sent me her paperwork. She brings clothes from Turkey. The clothes were costing about 1.5 million and the taxes were 1.5 million. Then I told her, so what kind of business is this? Then she said, you say that's why when we charge you expensive when you come to our shops, you start complaining. But this is what is happening. So what percentage, who is setting the calculations? Is that person realistic? Are you able to pay those taxes? If you're not able to pay those taxes, you need to use a human rights-based approach when you're setting things. Because have reached to this point to say that they just want us to die. That is it.
And when no, they don't want people to die, because when they die, when we die, where will they embezzle from? No, they don't want us to die. They will milk us until only that. I think not until people in those positions, mostly people, they need to be educated about human rights approach. That is where they are lacking. And they think they know. They think they already know. For us, we have studied human rights, but they don't have the passion for their country.
They are not civil servants.
They are not. They are just into those offices to eat, to get more power, and also to. And another thing I thought about is, I think our country is so much in debt. That is one. And two, I think because of a lot of embezzlement, so there is a lot of they lack a lot. They need things. They need to patch those spaces that have been lacking, the taxes that have not been paid, and of course they have to be. To them, I feel that is now they have to be creative. So to them, what is creativity? To them is imposing more taxes on the poor. Yes, finding like everything has to be imposed. To them, that is creativity. Yes, if the rich are paying taxes, what about the poor? They must all pay. But again, taxes are really good. We need the taxes because the government, the country has to grow. Yes, but not until there is a change in power. There is accountability. We've worked on embezzlement. We've worked on corruption. Even the taxes that are there now, yes, people are going to embezzle them. If the government can't sit down, if the president can't sit down and look at, okay, if we've been having high taxes and we're still having complaints around taxes, and those taxes haven't done for us anything, where is the problem? Until we look at what have we done wrong, what has the government done wrong, Minister of Finance should look at what has these taxes we've gotten, what have they done for us vis-a-vis the loans we get. Yes, before we even try to find out who else can we tax? Yes. Where is the accountability? When we start a discussion around accountability on taxes, yes, because now where we are going, they are going to push women away from participation. Because now people will be like how the example the person has said, if they bring those things and they don't get the customers, which means they'll get out of business. They will not have money to pay for their businesses. We'll have now dead stock, so people will opt out of the businesses. Yes, and where will it leave us? To become more poorer. That is why I'm saying, if taxes, if we don't use, if they don't use we don't have gender responsive approaches. If they are not gender based, or even look at they should use also feminist approaches. Yes, if we don't have those approaches, which means women are going to be put out of business, and when women are put out of business, we have the higher of the population, we are the highest. The country is not developing. And again, if the president doesn't look into punishing, I'll call it punishing the corrupt officials, but rather keep them there, promote them.
But does he have the moral authority to punish them? You saw him on TV sometime back saying Uganda will collapse.
If he doesn't, to me as a
because
citizen,
this is a reflection of his leadership.
As a citizen, he must have, but maybe because of his action, he has involved with those people. You know, when you sleep in bed with someone doing something, you can't get out of that bed, and then you caution and criticize them. So now you have to just add the equation or subtract or divide. But as a citizen, I believe as the president of Uganda, they have the mandate to do that. but what is not letting them do that?
Okay.
Exactly.
The question remains there.
Becky, just to add on what Winfred has said, we should look at it also from a business point of view, that taxation is a must, but also why is there tax avoidance? Why are people not paying taxes? It's because how have they packaged taxation to us? Yeah, how are they presenting taxation to us? Because if you're bringing out a product, remember, sometimes you're not the only person that is presenting it to people, but why is your product standing out than the other person's product? Is it the pricing? Is it the value? Are you not creative enough? Are you not innovative? And who is your target group? Who is your focus group? Because in the population, we have women, we have men, we have children, we have organizations, we have businesses that have actually services and products. So are you going to serve it? Are you going to tax a person that's providing a service the same way you're going to tax a person that's providing a finished product? And what percentages are you seeking to? Because on 100%, I'm giving you taxes. I have responsibilities. I need also to afford basic needs. I need to afford basic services, healthcare, and all that.
And there's also taxation in that service.
Exactly. So you need to look at what percentage do you seek to gain from the population, from the citizens. Educate these masses, whereby you find that someone is willingly paying the taxes because they seek to what at the end of it all they're going to benefit. That maybe if I'm paying taxes, when it comes to importing, I'm expecting maybe lower charges. When it comes to taxation, maybe my children in the nearby future are going to seek to benefit, that the taxes are being redirected to services that benefit the whole population. So I think the way they package taxation hasn't met the needs of people, and it isn't enticing for people to actually pay taxes, because in Uganda there are so many ways in which you can avoid paying taxes. And we're looking at our businesses that run online. Are you really going to charge me for not having a location? Yet
But
my
online
businesses
is going
are
also
running.
digital. There is digital taxes. So
Exactly.
online is also
So how are exactly so many people are running businesses online, but they are not paying taxes because they do not know. They want to pay the taxes, but have we educated them? Do they know?
And are the taxes working?
And is it worth paying taxes?
Tax for,
So all this comes out to really it's affecting the businesses, affecting women in business, and generally Uganda as a whole, because taxation benefits so many of us if it's being redirected and used accordingly.
Okay. I think we also need to look at service delivery and these taxes that we pay. And to take you back in 1960, Mukedia, they had a tax rebellion in Mukedia. Then in Busoga, there were riots in 1983. This country, our people saying no. Then also the increase in graduated tax led to a peasant rebellion against the Obote regime. I think now it comes back to civic action. And also in the 1990s, there was riots against local government taxes also took place in Iganga. People in Usoga region were doing a good job.
in Eastern region. The first one you said Bukedia.
Bukedia
The
in
second one in
1960,
Iganga.
Busoga district.
The whole of East was
East
getting
was
busy.
So Eastern is doing a good job.
it was doing a good job, but I don't know what has happened right now.
Right now, we are actually on a time bomb. When you look at the current situation in Uganda, like the president mentioned, we have to tighten our seatbelts after the anti-homosexuality law was passed into law. And we've seen that the World Bank is withdrawing funds. So also government is finding ways of running the country. And what better ways apart from taxes? So for us to help the government, we need to bridge the gap between the citizens and the Uganda Revenue Authority. They should not take it for us, we are here. For them, they are there. They have to be in the community. And accountability. I don't mind accountability as long as I see where the funds are going. And also, when you look at what's happening, we are going to have a lot of cases of mental depression. Already it's been reported that there are millions of Uganda that are undergoing mental health illnesses. and because of businesses. I recently read in the newspaper a gentleman, he brings rice from Tanzania. They captured, they took his container and they were claiming that the rice is from Pakistan.
Wow.
So they were taxing him highly. So we are talking also about doing business across East Africa region, across Africa. How are we going to do this if there is no clear policy to tell us these are the taxes? If you're trading within East Africa region, this is what you have to pay. If you're trading within Uganda, this is what you have to pay. If I'm getting my goods from Noya district, from my garden, there's a tax that I pay the local government there. When I'm entering Kampala, there's also what I pay. Then the transport has a tax on it. So we need the government to come to the communities and sit with us. I'd like to appreciate some government parties that have made it easy for citizens. Right now, you don't need agents to get a passport. You don't need agents to get a driving permit. The information is there. So if those
The information is where?
is online.
But how many people access online?
What I'm saying, it's online, but even when you go to their offices, they will assist you. Within no time, they'll tell you, do you have a smartphone? Then they show you like this. If you don't know how to do it, they'll assist you.
I really understand that, but I'm saying, what about the
you're
person on
having
the
the
grassroots?
services.
What she's trying to say is,
think
you
there's
are
an
a should
improvement.
act that way. For example, if I have goods coming to Uganda, let there be a charge, and we say that per cloth of this amount,
They should copy.
they should
All the
streamline
information
it.
should
And
be
they
there.
know that
Yes.
if I'm bringing a truckload
Yes.
of tiles from China,
Yes.
bringing them to Kampala, this is the amount that will be charged. But you know what happens? It reaches here, and it's
They've gone
totally
high.
a different ballgame.
And now this one involves money, and the other one is just
also
you're
the
getting
others
your.
have money.
Now, to me, where I see the problem, why they might fail to do that. Remember the other one, you're paying for your passport. It is an individual. But now this one you're bringing a lot of. So you want us to put things online, and then how will we play our games there?
Just to clarify, I'm talking
Maybe
about
because of
best
the bribery.
practices of
Best
sharing information. If there's already a category of fees that is going to be charged for people in this business, put it there such that when I go to the office, the price they are telling me is related to what is online. But if it is hidden and then they start saying, do you know someone? Then they start tampering with systems and what? That is what we are trying to avoid.
But I think
we
the
should
rates
hold
are
government
online.
to account.
Rates are
There's a
online.
time we were seeing that, you know, when OPU had come
the
back.
rates with putting their rates, they're online. You
the
get
rates
it. But
don't
again,
apply.
accountability. No, implementation. The problem is with the implementation.
Like Rose talked about the kaftans. Is there anywhere she can get that rate that if I go to Nigeria, buy for my personal consumption clothes, this is what I have to pay? Is that information online?
And even when you're coming back, I think when you go through duty free and come back there, they say these perfumes now, you don't pass with how many perfumes.
Actually, recently I was talking to a friend, and Uganda is promoting more of export rather than importation. If you're going to take out your goods, you pay, but you get some profit. But if you're bringing anything inside, if you don't know tactics of tax avoidance, just avoid it.
All right.
And you are saying, actually, you can, like, I'm talking about the kaftan. For example, there is no discussion there. Once they've slapped you with a tax, you cannot even take a receipt and say, this is how much I bought this thing. It is already in the system. There is that system where we called URA and they were like, it's done. There is nothing you can do. It's done. Like, you either pay or you pay. And if you don't pay, they actually cancel your PIN.
This gentleman is talking of the rice. Do you know what he asked the URA? He said, give me back my goods and I take it back to Tanzania. Instead of paying taxes, let me take it back, because it doesn't make any business sense. So how many women can do that? And women, they usually are dealing with agents because they have family to take care of. So they will rely on this person who will bring the goods to the country. Or like if they're selling goods across the borders or to Kampala, they rely on agents. And some of these agents also want commission. So you see where the marginalization of women comes in.
It's a whole continuous cycle that's not being worked on.
But I think it is even mandatory that you must use a clearing agent or someone. Yourself, you may not be able to clear your own goods. You have to go through a third
Clearing agent.
So that is where there is a lot of confusion.
Okay, let's go for a short break. We'll be right back.
The Citizens Chatroom happens every Friday at 2 p.m. on Civic Space TV Online on Facebook and YouTube. We invite you to be part of this conversation. Civic Space TV, freedom always.
Welcome back to the Women Show as we talk about the impact of taxes on women businesses. And ladies, what are the rights of a taxpayer?
Okay. I think the rights of taxpayer is to have information, a lot of information about taxes. Having that education and being told and not hiding anything from the taxpayer. The other thing is make sure the money is used for that taxpayer to enjoy. Because if I'm going to go on the road and the infrastructure is broken down, if I go to a hospital and there are no drugs and these are public hospitals, then you're actually trampling on my rights. As a business person, my right is to come to your office and you tell me, and I ask questions and you give me an audience without judging the way I'm dressed, without judging the way I look. I mean, these girls will wear you properly.
What is the improper weighing? No, I say the improper weighing.
The improper would be a bit diplomatic. But you talk to someone and they're behind their phone or WhatsApp, and you are running to go do other things. I've come to pay taxes. I've come to understand my taxes. But I come to you and you make me feel like I have a whole day. Let's have a quick service. I think for me, those are my rights. My right is to pay, but also be evaluated properly. You don't just guess and assume my business is making billions and you give me a bill that I can't pay. I'll fold and go home. And then my children will starve. My children will not be able to go to school. So my rights are that simple.
Thank you.
And maybe just to add on is, as much as I have to be informed, I also, as a taxpayer, I have a right of being involved. Yes, I have a right of being involved. I also have a right to benefit from the taxes. And I have a right to question, to understand. Yes, I have a right to accountability of the taxes.
And just to add on, as a taxpayer, I have a right to confidentiality. When I avail information to the URA, I should not get a third party. Otherwise, you might find situations of house break-ins because this person saw my bank statement. And then I have a right to ask the government, like for tax, like sometimes tax waivers. If I'm just starting up my business, I want the government to be able to sit with me and I negotiate and tell them, give me this grace period. The way they do it for foreigners. I feel that is my right and I would really appreciate if the URA looks into that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Just to add on what everyone has said, that as a taxpayer, I need to have a right to a fair and just tax system. Because it goes back to, if it's faulty, who am I going to report to? Am I going to get any remedies? Am I going to have costs being paid to me? Also, as a taxpayer, I need to have a right to finality, that from the start till the end, there's a proper system, there's accountability that's going to be followed. Also, I need my privacy, because you don't need to expose it all out there, because some of us are working with certain companies that don't really need you to disclose so much information. So is my private information being safeguarded? Yeah. Is the system favorable? Does it also, as a taxpayer, I need to be educated, despite the fact that I'm informed that yes, I need to pay taxes, but why am I paying the taxes? So I feel like awareness should be out there, like keep us being informed. I believe taxes keep increasing or they get lowered or others get introduced. So let me be in the know of my rights as a taxpayer.
Yeah, just to add on, as taxpayers, we also have a right to fair treatment. We've had situations in the country where you find they'll arrest someone because they've not paid taxes, but you find a next door person is in the same situation as that person. And just because they are connected, no one is touching them. So we need fair treatment for taxpayers. And also when it comes to punishments or fines, they should look at this person. Is this person a first-time offender? Were they committing the offense because they lack awareness? Did the URA reach out? It's not enough for URA to send me emails and SMS. File these returns, do all these kind of things. Like we are looking at women also at the grassroots. There's where the URA calls filing returns, but how many people? Even, I'm not going to look at only grassroots women, even in the corporate, how many people know that they are supposed to go to a website like this to file returns? So if they lack that awareness, that is when I'll go back to the point I mentioned that there's need to bridge the gap between the URA and the community, bring services closer, and as we are paying to services, let us also see the returns in investment of the revenue. And also we have a right to determine how much the URA officers are being paid. I would not like to say that the officers are being paid a lot of money. They just collect, but we don't see accountability. So we should also be able to determine how much salary they are taking at home at the end of the month. Thank you.
We have talked about, just to add on something small, it might not be the right, but we have also we have so much talked about awareness and bridging the gap. I would love it, and I think the government and also people in offices like URA, always, they have interventions, by the way. They have tried to create awareness. For them, they'll tell you, we have tried, we have bridged the gap, but they are doing it. Their interventions speak to them. Yes. So let them come up with sustainable and interventions that speak. They should be strategic per region. Yes, they should be strategic to different diversities. Yes, the community, the citizens are diverse. Yes, the same communication, how they are communicating to an able woman is the same way they are communicating with another woman with special abilities. Yes, they are illiterates and there are women who are illiterates. There are women, we are diverse. So let their interventions also speak to the diversity of the
And maybe URA needs to become more of a corporate entity and act like a normal corporate entity, like NSSF. It acts as if it's out of the government realm, but still as government. When you're paying your NSSF, you know you're paying what? Your NSSF. And you know what you're going to get out of it at the end of the day. You can log into the system and see how much you have in there. When you call or send an email, it will be responded to like that, with even other information that you didn't even ask for, but it's good information. They have this continuous training all the time, going to different places, educating people about this money. And I'm sure they've done a good job. In fact, even when they say the money in NSSF has been stolen, sometimes you're like, no, mine is. I've seen my account. It is intact. Exactly. It is intact.
Maybe it gets there.
I wish they could maybe set up that kind of system where people walk in and because they may not know who wants this information, but this lay woman should be able to come from Kapelebyong and come to say in a trading center in Kapelebyong and find a URA person who is going to be there to talk to them.
Friendly
face. Someone telling them that, if you give us your money, we're going to do for you roads. We're going to do for you this and this and this. Then people will have will be more responsive in paying these taxes. Now it's like a punishment. To be honest, paying taxes is like a punishment.
Yeah.
Even when you receive that email, it is threatening.
That is how it's
like a demand notice.
You feel the tone in it.
The tone, it's threatening. They should tone down.
Why are all these people working at URA like soldiers?
Military.
Many things in Uganda are militarized. So when those people, they I'm just asking because even the tone, so they come off with that aggressiveness.
The tone at which they are asking for the money, it's like for you have no say in this money.
Yeah.
You can't. There is the tone alone of that email, and you get them by the way, even SMSs. Whoa, you have. I'm building a house.
Yeah.
I want to make some money out of the house. It's been on for 12 years. We're building, trying to make the thing look nice so that we can. Now, someone comes and gives me a bill of 1.5 that I'm already renting the house. I live in the house. It is still not finished. I am the one living there. And you're giving me a bill. And I'm like, honestly, someone could have taken the time, come knock at my gate, and ask me a few questions. And I'll be able to respond. Dialogue is key.
Dialogue is key.
Sometimes we need to assume. Maybe they try to assume. They try to throw a stone in the and they see.
Yes,
I just, as we are speaking here, I think it's important for different government MDAs to coordinate amongst themselves so that they come up with a uniform tax. Because you're going to pay tax on your property that you're renting. Then MTN is going to come and you're going to pay a figure. Umeme is going to come with a figure. Then the persons that deliver the food. Then the security persons. So
then the water.
I think there is even the water. There's need for coordination. And then they look at the end of that day. When these taxes are computed from national and what, how much are we leaving for that person? So if there is that coordination, it will help us to negotiate and to say that there is fairness in the taxes that are being charged.
But you know that we are represented by all this. We're asking the technocrats, the government bodies or those offices to come up and meet. But I believe everything, every amendment, every policy, every law passes through Parliament, right?
Yeah.
So the Parliament represents us. Yes. So when things passes in the Parliament, it means the members of Parliament have spoken for
us.
If they've received envelopes.
And that is where I'm coming. That is where I'm coming. That now, for us to be, we already elected people who are representing us, who are speaking for us, and who are passing the word.
They are very comfortable.
Which means even us, we are in 2023 is ending. 2024. So right now, as we also have those asks, let us also ask as a citizen, reevaluate the people we are taking in Parliament. Because truth is, we are electing bad people.
We only see them during campaigns.
Yes? Yeah. And now the problem is they'll come when we are hungry and we don't have what to eat. That is why they are keeping us poor. Yes. That is why they are passing those laws that are harming us, so that they can find us poor and we have nothing to do, and they give us those tokens of 1 kilo of sugar, and then we elect them again. But like you say, like you mentioned those districts that were standing up for taxes, but these days, Munai, everything is militarized, so people fear to be short. You get
with your placard. You
But
are a woman.
if
They
They'll
draw
touch
your
your
neck,
breast.
yeah.
if right now we
They'll
can
pull
start
you.
sensitizing people about the next elections, yes, what have our member of parliament done
for us.
Yes, if we can start that, like just educating people, know your member of parliament, what have they done? Let's start that accountability as citizens. We, of course, we know it, we might not because of the condition, but still, let's start from there because they speak for us, they represent us, and they will tell you that. But your member of parliaments were there when we were making decisions. They even voted. You get it. So it leaves the us, the citizens, in. So we also have to help the government by electing
People
let us-
that are knowledgeable.
Yes.
And just one way to help the government.
These ones are
It's not even-
knowledgeable, but
it's
they
not
are.
even about being knowledgeable.
Yeah.
We need to elect selfless people,
Yes.
which are very hard to find nowadays.
Yeah.
No, they're always there, but because we always mind about what the other person has given us during election, and we don't look at what they are going to give us during the 5 years. We look at what they are giving us that time. We look at people have manifestos, which are, I think some of them are even bought. You go sit there and tell someone, do for me a manifesto. And someone comes, stands in your face and lies.
One
You
thing
get
for
it?
sure is for government, if they want to get money, especially in the trying time that we are in, we need to have servant leaders. People should go to those offices for service and not to make money.
So-
When you look at the governments like in Sweden, their politicians use public means to work. If government wants to save money, start by cutting the number of parliamentarians by 70%, and then have
Taxpayers'
30% effective and reporting back to the citizens. And the citizens, why we are having our problems is because we are not talking. We are not holding the people to account. When we get on our feet and say that these people are not doing us a favor,
Yes.
we are the ones doing them a favor by putting them in those offices. When they look at the salaries, they will look at their salaries and cut them and say, that money, let's put in these hospitals. From the time of Amin and Obote, how many more new hospitals we have built? Right now, if we are always having campaigns, cancer run, what? And you ask yourself,
What is going
these facilities, where are they? The
We are
rich are
talking
flying
about-
their children abroad. So if we have that thing to demand our leaders to account and the government to help itself and say, oh, you see the finances are less, now we are going to merge the districts, we are going to go into like zones, so we'll have one representative and then we reduce the number of salary for the members of parliament. Those cars, we are going to sell them. They'll all start using Spacio, Raul, will fix our roads. What will we complain about again?
You're talking about parliament and reducing the number. Of recent, I came to know that even when one gets out of parliament, they are still paid.
Yes.
Hey,
Yes.
I get to. So you're talking
They are
about
paid,
they'll
yes.
cut them, but they're still. I don't know the amount.
we'll also revise those
And
ones
again,
that are paid.
I personally I buy that.
Can't we remove that?
I really buy that. But do you know what
is
the
supposed
president
to be.
can do?
Yes.
The president can start to be the example.
Yeah.
Before even cutting the
we
salaries
reduce
of
the number of his convoy.
first of all, before reducing the number, the expenditure only on him,
State House.
of the state house on him.
Yes.
You know, you set an example.
Yes.
So that by
as a
the time you
leader.
Lead by example.
trickle
For
it
me, I
down.
was surprised recently when they showed a hospital in Entebbe next to State House
That is
in
in
tatters.
terrible condition.
I looked at that clip and then I looked on the other side. You know, they were showing both. And this is the hospital next to State House.
What?
And it was
And when you talk about
dilapidated.
health, when we are talking about health, you people, we are now here talking about women issues.
Yes.
And we are
Women
talking
are the
about
most
taxes. And when we are talking about health and we are talking about hospitals, women go to hospitals to give birth.
Yeah.
Yes? We have seen, so everywhere, every infrastructure, but when we go around health, and we are talking about taxes, health and women, it will be worse. You get it? So when we're having a debate around taxes and women, we need to not only look at economical gains, we have to look at health-wise, yes, education. So the burden on women, when children don't go to school, yes, a man will be affected, but it will, there's nothing to do. But you will feel you will see it, the woman will feel it. Yes, that is why a woman can even go beyond just the work they are doing and either find other means. If it means even go wash for someone to get fees for their children, they'll do it. So when you are talking about taxes and the burden they are putting on us, it becomes worse for women. That is why we need gender responsive. We need to use gender lenses. Yes, when we are bringing those taxes on board, and they affect also saving and investment. Right now, we can all testify to how they've been an improvement in saving around women and investment. Women have invested these days. Women are saving these days. But when the taxes go high, it means they'll get out of savings. They'll stop saving because why would I
have a tax for pads and pampers, which men don't incur.
Rebecca, I just wanted us not to forget where we are coming from. We are still in the recovery from COVID. And that recovery has brought with it a lot of, poverty has increased, and also there are more jobs that are being cut. So we are finding it's becoming tougher to survive as human beings. But how is our government rewarding us with high taxes? They are forgetting we are still recovering from COVID. And we also appreciate that the government is also recovering. But how they come up, that's why we are emphasizing on the human rights-based approach.
And just to add on what everyone has said, because from a student's perspective, is when we come back to taxation research and all that, I particularly asked a friend that is actually a taxation lawyer, and I asked him about how are the tax policies affecting women in business and women in general, and he was like, that's not a very important issue. Like he put it in this way of that information is scarce and that's not an area we seek to put our efforts in. So we have a very poor national picture of how the tax policies affect women in general, not only women in business, but look at how, like she said, health. There was something running online about the prices of cesarean section and what. And I'm like, certain places have terrible services, and this is a woman that can't push, so she needs C-section. She does not have the 1.6 million there and then. So it's either her health, her life that will go, or both, or the child alone. And when we come back to when you go downtown, people are trying to sell something, and then we're saying KCCA come.
Chase them away.
Okay, but these women do not actually have the money to pay maybe for spaces for rent. So they are going to decide to hawk so that they can actually have ends meet. So how about these institutions that are going about taxes, pay taxes? Think about the citizen that actually does not have that maybe 20,000 monthly or weekly to pay as taxes. Like, come back to see that can these people afford the necessary services that they need? This is someone that has children that need to be educated. We really need that information out there, that taxes are being used to construct schools, or there's a certain percentage of government schools that maybe there's a certain percentage that a parent will pay, and then the government using the taxpayers' money to educate those who are there. Like, we just do not have we don't have the necessary reports. We do not know the statistics. We're seeing a budget being read every year. We're seeing a budget having so many trillions of money, but it goes back to, when did I borrow that money? Yeah, you're borrowing that money, but I'm not affording a meal. You're borrowing that money, but you're taxing me for each and every service that I need. And at the end of it all, I'm not going to get the necessary services that I need. I can't even afford them.
The government has chosen to nurture more of people's bad manners like corruption and embezzlement than its citizens.
Yeah.
Because when citizens are there, and then our leaders are there, our representatives are there, our ministers are there. You get it? So the government, who is government? Again, they'll tell us it's us. The state, the president and the cabinet have chosen to nurture the bad manners of those in positions that would have helped us, leaving the country in debts, leaving the country left with no choice than milking its citizens. Yes, so the government, we are in a state where the government is also now confused, but they can't let their own, because the citizens are not their own to me now. The state
And we are
in.
letting greed take over. That.
Yes.
Those are the bad manners. They are nurturing the bad manners in people.
And there are effects to that. And that's one thing I wanted to look at. There is going to be increased political insecurity because when people close their shops in town, they're going to go back, and some of them have no option than to steal.
True.
And when people are agitated, that's when those uprisings you are referring to will come in. And you just see people are saying enough is enough.
And just
so how is the government looking into that aspect for us not to drop back to the times?
They have put there a lot of military men along the road.
People will not fear the military. Right now, even the military people are into business, and they'll partner with anyone to.
And just to go back with the frequent news that has been released this past week about mental health, truth be told is that I volunteered at Mental Health Uganda, and I've volunteered in certain mental health organizations, and there's this narrative about conversations change lives. So whenever I actually interact with people, you do realize that literally 80% of their stress, their problems, their mental issues, actually financial.
Yes.
Financial. Someone is going to, I'm stressed, my kids are supposed to go back to school.
Yes.
My health is bad.
There's no
My
food in
work,
the house.
my salary is terrible, cannot sustain, cannot feed, cannot. So it's basically mental health drawn to financial. That yes, of course, other things are there that as a person, maybe you have your own issues, but literally 80% of the stress factors and the mental health issues are financial. True. Because if I do not have the funds to take my children to school, to sustain myself in the position that I'm in, to afford basic needs, my rent is overdue, I have electricity, I have water, like each and everything is surrounded around financing.
Money is in center of everything.
Exactly.
As those ones under mental problems, as us under let me not remove myself. As us under mental problems need the money. Also, them who are embezzling to add on what they have, it is the money they want. So money is between everything.
An equal distribution of finances has caused a lot of economic stress. But then how do we then, I wanted to ask about cow tax and if it's workable. Because we see some people that have many, because now we are saying we are bridging the gap between the poor and the rich. You find that there are people that have so many cows.
They will not touch that one.
They won't touch them. But then you with the Kaduka downtown, Kalito,
they will come for you.
What are your views? Should we tax these cows and say bring your cow tax? Because if you're selling a cow at 3 million and you've sold 5 to Rufura,
with the new amendments, I believe they are going to be taxed, because anything that can be turned into economical, it is going to be taxed. But again, when we go to cow tax, who is the owner of the cows? You get it? And even if they are also taxed, who is going to be affected more? Because yes, we can say that one tribe is so much into the cows. But who owns those cows, the many cows? And who even has the capacity to bring their cows to that market, the good market we are talking about?
Even make the legislations about it. Who is going to make the decisions?
Yeah.
Who is making the policies? They are the cow owners.
So the cow tax for it to,
It is a
I
good
think the
thought.
cow
It's like
tax is
something
not
interesting,
bad,
but
but I'll go back to the same recommendation. When government is going to come up with taxes, they need to sit down with the citizens and say, these are the categories we are looking at, and agree on the assessment of the
They already, they will
taxes.
tell you we start with the citizen. Who is the citizen? They start with the member of parliament. So the government will
Your
tell you, for us, we
representative.
start with your
No, we will
representative.
change the approach. We'll say that the
to what?
member of parliament is
Does-
not enough. You understand? Because we want for them to change their mindset. There's already a way how they do things.
Yeah.
We want to pay taxes, but there's a way we also want to pay taxes. And there's a way we want the government to assess us.
But,
So what we are calling on is for URA to review how they make assessments. So even if they come up with that cow tax and the ones for coffee, beans or everything, as long as there is communication between us, win-win.
Yeah. Okay, we are about to close. I know the time is not on our side, but it's a very fruitful and honest discussion we need to have. And I know that the members of parliament should take it up. What's each one of us, our call to action to URA and to our leaders, our members of parliament, and to the president, those three?
To URA, I believe the best way is to actually do the proper assessment and make sure that taxes are not exaggerated. Two is communicate to us what the taxes are doing. That's it. Our job is to prepare the books of accounts as business people, make them as clear as possible, and be honest.
Yeah.
If we are not honest, then there is also going to be that exaggeration. But URA's role is to make sure that now they have a system called IFLIS, where all the invoices go through there and all that. So the best way is, if they have this system, let them make sure that it's transparent to everyone. Don't overcharge where there is even no need to overcharge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, Winnie.
Like I've been saying, we need to have gender responsive tax framework and tax system that uphold women's rights and the rights of everyone.
Thank you so much, Winnie. Cici?
Yeah, thank you so much. This recommendation goes to the members of parliament and to the president for taxes to be effective. I would call on the URA and all stakeholders to carry out a human rights-based approach, whereby you put the human being at the center of the decision-making. And the assessments that are made, we call on our beloved government and members of parliament to give us accountability. Like for the past 15 years, they can tell us this is the amount of revenue that was collected and it went to this sector, and these are the persons who were punished for corruption. So we'll appreciate if you can come on ground, the URA, sit with the citizens. Don't take us like we are your enemies, but take us as members of your household, and let's have dialogue and find a suitable way whereby us, the citizens, will be happy to pay taxes because we know it's making a contribution to development.
Thank you so much, Cici. Soki?
My recommendation to URA, to the leaders now, to the future leaders, would be create awareness to the general public to reach each and everyone, create awareness about the importance of taxation. Why are people paying taxes? Let the accountability be seen. Don't just say accountability is out there. Let us see physical, realistic accountability. Yeah. Let us be informed about our rights as taxpayers. That some people actually do not know their rights as taxpayers. So it goes back to let us have taxation be something that is more educative. Let people know. Let's have awareness. Let's also uphold human rights and be humane and be honest and realistic with whatever policies that we come up with, that put yourself in the position of that taxpayer that you're demanding. And also let us look at the fact that as it's not only an individual, but it's the general public at large that seeks to benefit from these taxes. And also let us have it out there and see where our taxes are being placed, are being positioned. That what certain percentage do we still need to give to have the taxes be more productive. Yeah, so that's my recommendation.
Thank you so much for this conversation, and I can tell you these are some of the conversations we are supposed to keep having, so that government not only listens to us but also for us to cause change, because our taxes, our right. And until next time, I'm Turyatunga Juna. Bye bye.